how are you? So first I have to apologize for being a little bit late in sharing this message. I was at the silent retreat, which was very much needed and essential. And I didn't forget about you. So today I am here with the message. This message will be until Monday, and Monday I will share a new update. So to say that we are living one of the most powerful weeks of the year. Why? You must already know this. If you love astrology, probably you already saw a ton of videos about the eclipse that is gonna happen on the weekend. And I am just one more person bringing a view about this, but this is what I love to do, so I will do it anyways. But before, let's go back. So today, Wednesday, we have a moon in Capricorn. I was looking into the today's sky and how interesting it is that there was like a triangle of squares, a T-square, with Mars in Libra, moon in Capricorn, and Jupiter in Cancer. It's interesting because, of course, like everything in life can be looked in through different angles. So in one way, this is the perfect time to address your patterns regards relationships, be vulnerable, Cancer, and be practical and take practical steps about it, Capricorn. On a shadow side of it, it might be easier to go into people pleasing, to go into the side when things get uncomfortable and not deal with the problems, and then to hide either with work or being too rational, too cold, Capricornian about it. Okay, so the wisdom in this moment, also with this opposition with Jupiter in Jupiter in Cancer, Moon in Capricorn. This is a great opportunity to go deep. This is a great invitation to look into the things with the magnifying glass of Virgo. Mercury also entered Virgo, so really zooming in and doing a huge internal house cleaning. We are here to clean the internal house, okay? To organize the internal house. And to organize the internal house means sometimes to go into the corners where you only clean once a year and go there and vacuum it, wash it, clean it. Okay? It's the invitation of the moment. Something very important to be said is that Saturn, the karmic teacher, is back in Pisces. So his retrograde was in Aries, came back to Pisces. It will be in Pisces until February. Of course, at some moment it will go direct again, but it's in the same energy where it was for the last 2 years, where also Neptune was, and at some time it will be back there. Pisces is about closing cycles. Pisces represents endings. Pisces represents forgiveness and compassion. I guess one of the biggest lessons of Pisces is compassion, is forgiveness. And at this silent retreat, the person that was facilitating, Ricky, that is beautiful human being, someone asked the question, and how can we forgive? How can we forgive when people do horrible things to us, no? And he said something like, forgiveness comes with gratitude. And this is it. This requires, of course, a shift in perspective, where we shift from being the victim in the story and we understand that even if it's super hard, I'm not saying that someone does something so harmful and wrong to you, that how can I not be mad or angry or whatever about it. But there is a human tendency to judge, and we are shifting from judgment to compassion. So that's also from Pisces, from Virgo to Pisces, because in Virgo we judge. I'm not saying that all Virgos are judges and da 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 da, but it's a natural tendency because we aim for perfection. We go look into the detail. So going into Pisces means looking at the bigger picture, means zooming out. And sometimes we sit in the place of the victim of, I was harmed and it was this and that person is the guilty and that person is that and da 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 da. And this is just giving your power away, because also, as Ricky said, and I have to mention it, what happens to you, it's not on the way, it's the way. So I could go a lot into this topic and talk about karmic stuff and all of that, and I can talk a little bit actually, because this is my YouTube channel, and if you want to hear it, amazing. If not, it's okay, I understand. I'm not here to be everyone's cup of tea. But yeah, there is a lot to say about this. And if we look into from a soul perspective, we all come with work to do here. Okay, we don't just come here to, we come here to enjoy and to celebrate, but there is a work to do. There is a soul mission, and that's what our sun in astrology shows us. The sun is your mission in this life. And being the mission in this life, meaning the energy of your sun is what you come to master in this life, to work through that, to understand. And then of course there are memories, there are things that are in our vessel that we don't even know that we carry them, but through repetition, things we did in the past, and this is the moon. So we come to address the patterns of the moon, break the patterns of the moon, transform that energy, alchemize it into its lighter way, and then address the mission and work through the mission. And the mission is not done overnight, okay? And that will be personal to you, but just so you know, this is my perspective on astrology, and I feel like this makes perfect sense to share this right now. Why? Because Saturn is the karmic teacher. And on Saturn coming back to Pisces, this Sunday we will have the lunar eclipse in Pisces. Okay, so this is all related. So this lunar eclipse, meaning that opposition between the sun and the moon, of course, it will be happening in Pisces, and Pisces represents these endings, the closing of cycles, bringing compassion, forgiveness to whatever was that happened to you. Also, breaking cycles. And we have been doing this because Saturn was already in Aries, Neptune moved into Aries, so we kind of already started a new chapter. And it doesn't mean that we are not on that chapter, but there are these little details, Virgo, that are such key for the new chapter. And you don't want to come, like you don't want, for instance, let me give a practical example. Let's say that you have a house to rent on Airbnb and there are some places in the house that you don't clean. You are like, the people will not notice. It's okay. I will just rent it like that. You can just rent it like that. But then, depending on whoever's coming into the house, some people might go into detail and might go check, and then you will get a bad review. So this is not mandatory. Okay, you don't need to address these things. You don't even need to look inside if you don't want. But if you want inner peace, if you want to live a fluid life, it's invited. You're invited to do this. And at this precise moment, this is, I would say, cosmic helps for us to look into these deeper things. And with Virgo, we are going into the little details. But truth is that details also matter. But at the same time, we have Pisces. So Pisces is the zoom out, is the forgiveness. It's the, okay, I know I did my best. And yeah, I'm here, I'm human, so I forgive myself. So it's the balance between these two energies that is being played. So today we have the moon in Capricorn. Tomorrow, moon enters Aquarius. I love it. Everything is flying. I was talking about Aquarius, which is air, and then suddenly the airs are moving. So Aquarius is wind, is air, and Aquarius will be about detachment. So when I looked into the energies of the week, felt a lot like past, future, but truth is that we are here in the center, and the center is the present, and the present is all there is. There is not so much more than the present. So, of course, we live in the present, we learn from the past, and we do it different because we want a new future in a way. We don't want to keep on repeating. So that's why during these moments, during these times, the karmic lessons, the stuff from the past might come up to the surface for us to deal with it through a different perspective. Then, what this means is personal, okay? And we will have a time this week to figure that out. There is a lot, like for instance today, the moon is having a big impact and lots of aspects. So the moon meaning our patterns, okay? So this is perfect time to address the patterns, okay? To also not put our emotions in the way, meaning our emotional responses, meaning the reactivity. So in the end, it's always about breaking the reactivity, and that is what allows us to heal the moon, because the moon is reactive. I've done that 100 times, so every time something similar comes up, I repeat. And this is where we need to pause and to do it differently. So, great invitation for you to address what is your repetitive pattern. And might be in your moon, but don't go through astrology. Astrology is just a tool, okay? And I love it, but it's just a tool. So in the end, it's like, what is my pattern, and where do I see repetition? Maybe ask the closest people in your life, because they will know and they will be able to give you like a more impartial view. Then I wanted to talk about Friday, because I feel like Friday is also a key day. The moon is still in Aquarius, but there is also an opposition from moon to Venus, okay, and then a square between Mars and Jupiter. So I felt like the opposition between the moon and Venus, it is a little bit of what you want versus what is best for you. And sometimes we want something because we are not seeing the full picture, but in fact our not personality, but our DNA, in a way, like our way, is a little bit different, and sometimes we are not ready to face it or to accept that we are this way or that way. So of course, in the end, it always goes back to us fully owning who we are, us not judging who we are, and accepting our flaws and our gifts, and knowing that sometimes it's a two-sword, it's two sides, a curse and a gift at the same time. We all have it, and if you own it, easy. It gets much easier when you accept these things, than when you reject it and keep on trying to put it aside. Now is not the time to put aside, okay? So then the thing of Saturday, where the moon moves into Pisces, then we have the full moon, which is a lunar eclipse. I feel like it's a transition, so we are really transitioning into a new era. And then I noticed that on Sunday we have an opposition between, not an opposition, but the Lilith is trining the North Node. Lilith, which is the dark moon, no, which is the dark side of the moon. And then an opposition between the moon to Mercury. So there is the thematic of leaving the past behind, starting a new cycle, is super strong. And the thematic of patterns, addictive behaviors, shadow is not there to harm you, okay? The shadow is just there for you to own it, for you to put light on it. So once you address it, it's not a problem anymore. But sometimes it's hard, because our ego doesn't want that. Or our emotional reactivity doesn't want that. And to break certain things, it's hard. But it's a path, and you don't have to break these things suddenly. It's a work in progress, okay? And accepting this work in progress, being kind to yourself, it's already halfway. And we are given these opportunities, but we don't have to do things like that fast, okay? So it's basically addressing and slowly, compassionately. Compassion is such a key, working through that. So yeah, this is what I feel it's big about this eclipse. So also interesting to say that the full moon, meaning the eclipse, is ruled by Pisces. So it's in Pisces, meaning it's ruled by Neptune, which is still in Aries, but it's in a retrograde movement, and it's ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter at this moment, it's such a great friend, because Jupiter is really reminding us to look deep into ourselves, to look deep into our vulnerabilities. Okay? So it's, as I said some videos before, that Cancer is that sensitive part of yourself, the part you don't show to anyone. And Jupiter is really expanding that energy so that we don't ignore it. So whatever comes up right now, it's not random, and it's not to be like put aside. It is really key, and you don't need to act upon it, but just acknowledge it, okay? So yeah, this is what I have for you today, and I wish you a wonderful rest of the week. Bye bye.